Good evening, I'm student meteorologist Brantley Kike.
And I'm student meteorologist Francesca Lappin.
Thank you for joining us this evening here on FSU Weather. We had a very chilly start to the day. Temperatures started off in the mid-30s. We had a low this morning of about 36 degrees, and our average is normally around 43. That's what's normal for this time of the year. So it is a little bit cooler than what we would normally expect going into December.
I was not expecting to find a thin layer of frost on my windshield this morning. I was taken aback. It took me a little extra minute to warm up the car, but find some good tunes at that
ice
time.
is not usual around here, but we could see even more of that tonight. We do have some details later on in the show about some frost coming up, tomorrow morning possibly again, maybe even a little bit thicker, and we have a light freeze tonight. So temperatures last night, got down to the mid-30s, and tonight they're gonna get down to the lower 30s, maybe even upper 20s for some places. So these cold fronts are really like a two-day event. The second day afterward, it's usually stronger.
And you got to make sure when the freeze comes, if you have nice plants you like to take care of, cover them up with a nice blanket. They get chilly too. If you have any outdoor pets, leave extra blankets and stuff for them to cuddle up in. Make sure everyone's feeling warm as well.
And a good thing to note too is if you have outdoor pipes that are exposed, it's also a good thing to cover those up as well. Sometimes like a water spigot that's outside, just putting a sock on it or like a towel or something can keep it from bursting, which could cost you a lot of money in the end. Yeah. So it's not normal we get these freezes around here, but they do happen a few times each year. So we do have to take precautions whenever that happens.
Yeah, just always be prepared.
Absolutely. Now we're gonna take a look at what's coming up later on in the show with Melissa at the wall.
Thank you, guys. So let's take a look at our Doak Campbell Stadium time lapse throughout the morning. Woke up to a frosty start. Probably good news is sleeping in. You let some of that melt off, and it's not as bad when you have to drive out for the morning. So by now the sun has set. We maintained a clear day throughout, sunny and clear day throughout the day. We can expect right now we have 50 degrees, clear, starry skies. And a look at the radar across the nation. We have the high pressure giving us northerly winds and keeping our area dry and clear throughout the day. And moving into tonight, you can expect that low to dip down to 29 degrees, getting lower throughout the night into the morning. Probably another frosty start to your day tomorrow. But we maintain clear skies, and by tomorrow, that sunshine sticks around with the morning frost maintaining sunshine and warming up to 56 throughout the afternoon. We can expect a wet weekend as a cold front moves in and brings a rain chances throughout our area starting Saturday and getting worse throughout Sunday, hopefully moving out of the region by Sunday evening. Tonight, coming up, you can expect a discussion on the freezing temperatures and the frost overnight tonight, our rainy weekend ahead, and we're going to kind of dive into a look at the winter storm to hit the East Coast as that front moves through the area, bringing us wind and potential snowstorms to the north. I'm going to hand it off to Brittany for a look at our local right now.
Thanks, Melissa. Let's take a look at the Cascades Park from earlier to this morning. Can't really see the sky much, but when that sun rose, beautiful conditions, just some high-level clouds, but another beautiful day here in Tallahassee. Really a really nice day to take a walk in the park. Currently, we're still mostly clear, sitting at 50 degrees, and that temperature is going to continue to drop with that light wind coming out of the north. Currently across the area, pretty similar conditions. Mostly clear skies. Quincy seeing a few passing clouds. They're at 46 degrees currently. And Thomasville already dipping down into the lower 40s at 43 degrees. That wind coming out of the north is giving us that thankfully drier air. Us here in Florida are very excited to see. Winds ranging from about 6 to 7 miles per hour around the area. And that northerly wind will change once we get that next system coming this weekend, which is over at the coast of California. But when you zoom in over towards the southeast, high pressure is dominating, and we're getting that clockwise flow, which is giving us that wind from the north. When you zoom in, it's not broken. There's just not a cloud in the sky and no rain in our area. And going into the next couple of days, that's the story, but you'll start to see clouds increase as we go into the weekend, and then our chances of rain increase again with the potential for a couple inches of rain. Just like we saw last weekend, we do have that heavy rain threat going into the weekend and possibly some severe weather, and we'll definitely keep you updated on that. So stay tuned with FSU weather. Going into finals week, we should see things clear up though. Going into tonight, And for your Thursday forecast, sticking to the 50s. And if you're going out on a boat for that marine forecast, temperatures in the mid-50s, pretty breezy, winds out of the northeast 10 to 15 knots with that light chop. Chilly day out in the water, but overall nice as far as the sunny conditions. Dry now, but rain later. We're going to continue with those really nice conditions Thursday into Friday with the possibility of frost tomorrow morning. Going into the weekend, though, that's when those rain chances come back in. And at night, we'll have that greater chance going into Saturday night, Sunday morning for heavy rain. So that weekend really giving you another push to stay inside and study for finals. But things will clear up for finals week. For now, I'm going to send things over to Brantley with a look at the southeast.
All right, thanks. It's looking like a pretty dry day across most of the southeast right now. We had high pressure in control of areas stretching from Florida all the way up to the Arkansas area. We do have pretty clear conditions that are going to continue through the night and tomorrow. We could even see clear conditions going into Friday as well before our next system starts coming into the area. Temperatures right now is generally sitting in the 40s for most of the southeast, but that's going to drop pretty quickly as we head into the nighttime hours. Jackson already down to 42 degrees, Montgomery at 43. Nashville is one of our colder spots at 38 and Atlanta at 37. Dew points are showing exactly how dry it is. The closer this number is to our actual temperature is how damp the air is, and our temperatures and dew points are far apart from each other, so that shows exactly how dry the air is right now. Our wind speed and direction is showing our high pressure system. We have this clockwise flow going around the southeast, so we are seeing mostly north or north-northeast winds for most of the Gulf states right now, and that will change going into the weekend as well once that low pressure system gets over our area. Again, high pressure across the area, and that is going to keep these clear skies through the next couple of days here. We do have a freeze watch in effect for parts of the northeast Florida and southeast Georgia right now. That freeze, or warning actually, is going to go through 8 a.m. on Thursday. That's because they have the potential for a freeze overnight. And that is, we usually issue these freeze warnings when we get our first freeze of the season. So after this one freeze warning happens, it will not have another one again until this time next year. Now, looking ahead to our storm outlook, we do have a concern going into Friday evening for the southern part of Texas. Places from Houston down to Corpus Christi are in a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms, and that is risk level 1 out of 5 on the scale here. And again, this is going ahead for a couple days, so this is our day 3 outlook. As we get closer to it, we could see this threat increase to a slight risk or maybe even enhance, because this could be a pretty potent storm for places like Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas. But closer to the Gulf Coast, we should see things a little bit calmer, mostly just showers and thunderstorms along here, because there's not going to be as much instability in the area. Our forecast model times things out for us. We do have a few clouds moving into the area of the Gulf of Mexico over the next day or so, and then by Friday afternoon we do see all those thunderstorms showing up across the great state of Texas there. As we go into the weekend, we will see these thunderstorms get closer together and generally spread towards the east here and kind of lifting up as well. So we are going to see these become closer together, and places as far south as Atlanta could start to see wintry precipitation. So we could see a mix of snow and rain. We could see some sleet and maybe even freezing rain. So we are going to be keeping a very close eye on this system as that weekend does get closer to us. But now we're going to take things back over to the desk with Brittany and Melissa.
Thanks, Brantley. Now, we saw a tweet earlier from FSU's recreational Twitter from pictures from actually the res today. Look at those waters. Not ideal to do any activities on the water, and they actually tweeted the highest water is at the res in 10 years. To prevent flooding and damage, no waterfront activities, including swimming and rentals, will be held until the water goes down considerably. That is because we received almost 8 inches of rain this last weekend.
Last weekend, 8 inches of rain with slow-moving systems that took a while to move through the area last weekend.
And that's actually more than twice our December average for rain.
Twice the average.
So only a couple days into December.
I was going to say, December is getting off to a record-breaking start, attempting to break some records this month.
Yeah, and actually 2 to 4 inches is expected this weekend, so it doesn't look like those waters will come down too significantly anytime soon.
And that's already on rather saturated ground, holding that moisture from last weekend. So the chances of continued flooding threats will pervade through the weekend.
Yeah, and not just for areas of the res or locally, but a lot of rivers in the Big Bend area do have those flood warnings still in effect, and those are expected to maintain at least through this weekend.
Yeah, and that's even in southern Georgia, and the rain that will, after the rain moves through, and as those waters filter down into our area, it's just going to keep that flooding threat active.
And on top of flooding, we do have the potential for severe weather, but we're actually going to send things over to Francesca, who has a look what we can expect locally.
Thanks, guys. I wasn't planning on swimming anyway. It's a little too chilly for me, but maybe for the winter polar bears, they like it. Well, anyway, we're going to take a beautiful look at this crystal clear sky with some beautiful sunrise clouds and just moving through. And a beautiful clear day, like the sun shines over Doak. And right now we are feeling a nice 50 degrees. I think that's chilly. I will need a jacket, but it is nice and clear and the winds are calm. So it'll be a nice night. And that's pretty much the same for all around here. Quincy's the only one experiencing a little bit of clouds. And then we have a high of 50 in Bainbridge and Tallahassee. Oh, and Apalachicola. Almost missed you guys. But overall, pretty nice with upper 40s and low 50s. Dew points, dry, not chapstick weather, but it's nice. I like this type of humidity. Wind speeds, almost all of our winds are coming from the northeast. They are bringing us that cool, dry air that we are loving, that winter weather. But right now we have a very crystal clear radar all over the southeast, and we have this high pressure coming in, bringing us this clear weather, not a cloud in the sky. Cancel your cloud watching clubs because there's nothing. But that will not last past Friday. This weekend is going to be a little wetter than I would appreciate right before finals. I need that bright sunshine to get me motivated. But we're going to have some rain coming in on Saturday, really the most on Sunday. So hunker down. It's going to be a wet one, but it's going to keep moving through. We're going to get about 3 or 4 inches of rain, just more rain. I know we just went through it, but it'll be moving out by finals week, by next week, and we will be having that weather that we've been used to for the past couple of days. Tonight in Tallahassee, we are dipping into the 20s. It's going to be chilly, but it's going to be nice and clear, light winds, which means there's going to be even colder temperatures than you would expect. In the morning, 56. That'll be accompanied with a little bit of morning frost. Make sure you give your car a little bit of time to warm up. But it will be sunny and calm winds. For your marine forecast, if you're trying to take a trip on the boat, be a little choppy, so just be wary. And then for your Thursday, wear layers because it'll start out pretty cool and then warm up slowly and then get back into that cool nighttime weather. As for the rest of the week, we're seeing like bright sunny skies. Just that weekend, it's going to be a little dreary, a little rainy, but that Monday through Wednesday, going to be just like this week, lovely. And I'm going to pass it off to Brantley on the rest of the country.
Thanks, Francesca. We are looking at that high pressure across most of the nation right now, which is letting us have clear skies, especially in the southeast. Memphis already down to 40 degrees. We're seeing places like Chicago in the 30s, some snow in Minneapolis already right now down in the 20s, and those temperatures are only going to keep dropping into tonight. Our dew points are low all the way across the country. We're seeing dew points around 35 in New Orleans, 28 in Memphis. Along the west coast, though, they are a little bit higher here. They do have a low pressure system in that area that's bringing some pretty heavy rainfall for them. So that's why we are seeing things a little bit more damp in the air over there. Our surface winds across the country really tell a story about where this high pressure is situated. We have a clockwise flow here, so we have winds out of the south for parts of Oklahoma and Nebraska and Kansas, but over in the Gulf states we do have winds coming generally out of the north or northeast. That high pressure system will shift over to the east in the coming days here as a low pressure system that's located right now over California starts to move across the country, and that's eventually going to bring us some rain going into the weekend. Taking a closer look at the Northeast, though, they do have some lake effect snow coming off the Great Lakes right now. That lake effect snow will continue in the overnight hours, and tomorrow they could see up to 3 or 6 inches of rain along the coast along the lake coast in New York. We should see some rain farther off the coast, though, but generally over land we are going to see mostly snowfall and no rain. So we do expect a couple inches of snow in the next day or so. Our upper level water vapor does show some pretty intense moisture over Canada, and that's going to dip down into the northeastern part of the United States over the next day or so. Our winter weather advisory is up, though, for parts of New York, especially in the higher elevations. They could see some pretty heavy snowfall. Otherwise, we do have flood warnings for parts of Illinois and Ohio in the Ohio Valley right now. Now moving things down to the southeast, we do have a look here around Tallahassee. We don't have a lot of severe storms right now, but we do have some flood concerns for part of Florida. A lot of rivers right now are in their flood stages, so we do have several roads and highways that are covered by water at this time. And again, like I said earlier today, we do have that freeze warning for parts of northeastern Florida and southeastern Georgia. This freeze warning is the first one of the season. They only issue one every year at the start of the season to kind of let you know that that is your first freeze. So after this one, they won't see another one for until this time next year. California is finally receiving some much needed rain, especially in the southern part of the state here. Los Angeles has seen about an inch of rain in the last a couple of days here. They could see a little bit more until this low pressure system starts to move, but in the higher elevations they do have a few flurries falling as well. Our small craft advisory up and down the coast. There is a break in the San Francisco Bay Area, but otherwise small craft should use caution across the waters there because waves are high. We did have gale force gusts earlier today in those parts of the Pacific, but the winds are going to calm down later tonight. We also have a winter weather advisory for places higher up in the mountains in the southern part of Nevada and over in Arizona. Our drought monitor has changed a lot, though, because of this rain. We used to see an extreme drought for most of the state of Texas. It's now down because of the rainfall they received, which is helping with the fire concerns as well. But we do still have an exceptional drought for the Four Corners there. Now we're going to take things back over to the desk with Melissa and Francesca.
Thanks, Brantley. So we're going to take a little bit of a look into freeze warnings and what frost warnings mean, especially for us Floridians.
Yes.
We're not necessarily accustomed to them.
So what's exactly happening when you wake up to that frosty morning and the frost all over your car? Let's explore why that is.
So, you know, you might think, oh, it's not 32. There's no way it's going to freeze. Well, there is a chance. So starting at 34 degrees, you actually do get frost, which is possible.
A possible chance. And frost likely, like we will see this morning, we saw frost likely starting the morning off at 29 degrees, was below freezing, and even through tonight with the clear weather and how cool we will get, will bring that chance back into the area.
And just because it will be 34 degrees, so it's possible, but what will really get us to that frost will be the very light winds and the lack of clouds, because clouds, they basically act as a blanket. So they really are our friends when we want to keep away from that frost.
They warm us up slightly throughout the morning. Without that cloud coverage, those temperatures are able to dip to the frosty zones.
And then with the wind, it just mixes up all of the air and completely gets us a nice homogeneous air layer above the surface, which gives us a less likely chance to freeze.
Which we will not see tonight, and we did not see last night. So we wake up each morning to higher frostier chances.
And we definitely won't be seeing them in the this coming weekend with all of that rain and clouds coming in.
Yeah, and as that front moves through, we'll have a circulation that will actually act like a little bit of a warm front, bringing in moisture and warmth off the Gulf that will warm us up for the weekend.
And I mean, I prefer not to have a frosty car in the morning. But right now, we're going to hand it off to Brittany, and she's going to take us around Florida.
Thanks, guys. Let's look at those temperatures around Florida, and really a difference. If you start out in Pensacola, 48 degrees, upper 40s to 50s are sticking around across the panhandle, but go down towards Orlando, hitting the mid 50s, and then all the way down towards the Keys, you're in the 70s. So really a difference, and you can tell where we really feel that effects of cold fronts and high pressures more towards the north and Florida. Dew points also kind of telling the same story. We have drier dew points along the northern half of Florida, 34-degree dew point in Tallahassee. Feeling pretty dry outside, but when you work your way down the coast, we're getting into the 40s and the 50s. Not terribly humid, but definitely you're feeling a lot more humidity than you would be feeling here in Tallahassee. Zooming in, you can see much more going around of the rest of the country, but in the southeast, clear skies, and we'll continue that for the next couple of days. Zooming on to South Florida, maybe some spotty showers lingering around after the cold front has passed over the last couple of days, but mostly clear skies, and tomorrow they're expected to maintain that. Just some clouds in the sky, temperatures ranging in the 70s, 77 in Key West. That sounds like a beautiful beach day here in Tallahassee. I don't think anyone's thinking that around here. Looking at the Space Coast as long as the Tampa Bay area, clear skies continue. You can see some spotty showers off in the Gulf, but nothing to worry about along most of the coast of Florida. And for tomorrow, looking beautiful, 69 degrees in Cocoa Beach, as well as Orlando. Daytona Beach sitting at 67 for tomorrow, and Vero Beach sitting at a nice 72 degrees under some partly cloudy skies. Moving up to North Florida, Jacksonville, Gainesville, clear skies once again, and they'll see these clear skies within the next coming days. Look at that, almost full suns across the board, 63 degrees for that high in Gainesville. Live Oak not making it out of the 50s with their high of 58 for tomorrow. And last but not least, the Panhandle, Panama City, including Pensacola, clear skies. They'll see the rain for the first going into the weekend, but tomorrow those clear conditions will continue. 55 degrees for Destin as well as Pensacola, and 56 degrees for Gulf Shores. Looking at the forecast, see those clear conditions continue, but you start to see heavy rain start to make its way towards the Panhandle. Pensacola will receive this rain first, then Tallahassee. It's late Saturday into Sunday. This will linger around, and the front will keep making its way down the Florida peninsula. We'll have some lingering rain around going into Monday, but things will clear up by finals week. Colleges, UCF, USF, and as well as University of Miami, after finals are next week, the rain should calm down as we go into the week. For tonight, 32 degrees in Tallahassee, 43 for Tampa, and 54 for West Palm Beach. Going into tomorrow, one of the last beautiful days we'll see before the weekend. Rain comes in, 55 for Pensacola and 77 for Key West. Now I'm going to hand things off to Melissa with a look at our local.
Thank you, Brittany. So starting off this morning, we stayed, see all the stars, very clear, beautiful morning, cool morning, maintained that clear sunshine throughout the day for a beautiful sunset. And now here we are at around 6:30 in the evening, maintaining those clear skies, calm winds out of the north at 3 miles per hour, and we are currently sitting at 50 degrees. Checking out our national radar, there's that high pressure we've been discussing with those clockwise winds bringing us northerly winds, keeping us in this area very cool, very dry, even maintaining that throughout the evening, which it will stay clear throughout the evening as well. Our current temperatures are 50 here in Tallahassee, clear, getting a little cooler in Thomasville, and down over on the coast, 50 as well near Apalachicola. Our dew points are dry and low at 34 home in Tallahassee, 31 in Apalachicola, and even lower in Bainbridge at 30. So clear, cool, dry. We like that. As far as the wind speeds and directions go, maintaining kind of a consistent pattern across the area. Northerly winds at between 7 to 8 miles per hour, even 6 down in St. Mark's. Tonight in Tally, you can expect 29 degrees, clear, beautiful, starry night. If you are interested in checking out the sky, tonight's the night to do it, with a north-northwest wind of 5 miles per hour. You're waking up tomorrow with a frosty start at freezing 32, warming up by noon slightly to 48, and that sunshine continuing to warm us to 54, cooling back down by 8 p.m. to a nice cool 41. Tomorrow's forecast, you can expect the morning frost, sunshine throughout the day, calm winds of 5 miles per hour from the northeast, and we can expect mid-50s for our high. The marine forecast is similar, looking at sunshine, mid-55 or mid-50s at 55, and our seas 2 to 3 feet with a light chop. Looking at our 7-day, we maintain this pattern throughout Friday. Sunshine, with our lows in the 30s, warming up slightly to 45 through Friday, a high of 60 on Friday. And then as you can see, that cold front brings in that weather by Saturday and Sunday, which will actually warm us up slightly. So we're going to get some moisture off the Gulf, some of that warmth as well. And we'll see highs in the mid-60s with our lows in the mid-50s to low 40s. So slightly warmer than what we've been feeling for the week. And then you get through the study sessions throughout the weekend with that rainy weather. You're missing nothing. So study hard, nothing's going on except some rainy weather, and it'll clear out by test time on Monday and Tuesday. So I'm going to hand it back to the desk with Brittany and Brantley.
All right, thanks, Melissa. Yeah, we're looking towards the weekend there. We do have a threat for the rainfall, but overall the severe threat is pretty low. Last weekend we did have a threat for severe weather with a similar system, but this weekend the ingredients just aren't quite there for it. You know, we normally need 4 things for severe weather. We know in meteorology we abbreviate it SLIM. It's shear, lift, instability, and moisture. And we definitely have a lot of shear, a lot of moisture, but we don't have a lot of lift or instability going into this weekend. So because of that lack of instability, we're just expecting a lot of rainfall and overall not a very large threat for severe storms. So no wind threat, no tornadoes right now, but of course if that changes we will update you. There is a flood threat though because of all the rainfall we've been receiving.
Yeah, that also definitely is a key factor for this weekend, especially last weekend we saw all that rain. Now that the ground is really holding all that rain and moisture from last weekend, this additional rain we're expecting this weekend, 2 to 4 inches, really is going to be a threat for some more flash flooding is definitely possible. So plan your weekend accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are planning on any weekend activities, make sure that you do it in the first half of Saturday or the second half of Sunday, because especially in between that time, in the overnight hours, the rain chances really go up to around 90% overnight. Otherwise, it's just going to be kind of hit or miss showers, but the overnight hours is when we could expect the bulk of the rainfall to be in the area. And again, 2 to 4 inches of rain is expected. So that is more rain on top of already saturated grounds, and we could see more flash flooding, especially along some of these lakes and places like the Res right now. It's already seeing flooding.
We'll keep updated with everything you need to know this weekend on Twitter. Follow us at FSU Weather.
You can also check us out on Facebook at FSU Weather, and you can watch us on YouTube. You can probably watching us there right now. You can see all of our shows, and we sometimes post little updates on there as well.
And we also have an Instagram at FSU Weather. Tag us in your pictures, and we post some updates on there also.
Absolutely. We love to see your pictures. We can feature them on all of our social media and here on the show.
Yeah, beautiful weather or rainy weather. We love to see weather, so
absolutely.
Send us your pictures always.
Thanks for watching. I'm student meteorologist Brantley Kite.
And I'm student meteorologist Brittany Bowman. Have a good night.